Hello friends, this is Promi and welcome back to the Kerbal Commonwealth Space Agency. As you may have been aware, I've been having lots of crashing problems in previous episodes, in particular with episode 6, but every episode I tend to crash at least 5 or 6 times. I've switched to forcing the game to run in DirectX 11 mode, which seems to be helping out so far. My frame rates are a little worse, but it seems to be manageable. I've also installed some contract packs with the contract configurer or configurator mod by forum user Nightingale. So that should provide some more varied contracts and some interesting missions. And lastly, I've been neglecting the bureaucrats over here in the administration building, so why don't we go check in with them to begin with. So here we have our head bean counter, Mortimer Kerman, in finances. We have Werner's intern, Linus Kerman, who's doing the science bureaucratic work Werner does not have any time for. We have Walt Kerman, who works in the toxic environment of public relations. And our head of operations of our facilities, Gus Kerman. So, let's look at what the strategies they have for us. One of the reasons I've been avoiding looking here is because I don't find these choices really all that interesting. And this one in particular, outsourced R&D, at least in the past, has been quite broken. In the later game, you can get ludicrous amounts of science by trading in your funds for that. I'm not sure how much that has changed in 1.0, but I'll probably be avoiding that one just because of its past history, let's say. And I don't want to trivialize the science part of the game. So more interesting, Gus has some ones here that have to do with launch costs and recovery. And I think over here we have some ways to convert reputation over, which could work well for us. Because I need both funds and reputation. Or rather funds and science. And our reputation is quite good, so we could transfer some of that. So I think... yes, here we go. Unpaid research program turns reputation into science. And the other option would be fundraising campaign, which turns reputation into funds. I think I like the science, so let's go with unpaid research program. We can ramp our commitment up to maybe 25%. Takes 25% of reputation gains and gives 1 science for each 2.436 reputation. I think that's a point and not a comma. Okay, let's activate that. Accept the strategy. There we go. So our reputation went down by a bit, but not by much. So let's close. And now let's check in with Gene. So you can see some of the new contracts here that are available from the contract packs I have installed. I modified them slightly to make the agents make a little more sense in context here. So this Crash a Probe on the Moon contract is offered by the Commonwealth Science Foundation. I think in the original contract pack it was by Space Penguins Incorporated. But this works a little better with our story. We also have some here from the ScanSat pack. So that'll be another nice thing to do. Can't really do too much in the way of mapping or any kind of permanent satellites until we have photovoltaics unlocked. So I think we'll leave those for now, and we have some easy part contracts here, so we'll take those. So that's landing gear and a solid booster. And have a experimental engine to the side mounted. It's a good reward. And that's just a suborbital trajectory, so we can put that on a sounding rocket. We'll accept that as well. So, that means it's time for some more test rigs. So I will speak to you in a moment. Okay, that probe core was jumping around too much for me to hit the recover vessel button on the top, so let's recover the core and its debris from the tracking station here. It's kind of unfortunate that our engines didn't survive, but at least we got the core back. So, let's see, where is that? Here it is. I think I want to put debris on, because there's some additional bits there. So let's recover all that stuff. So recover that. Not really a whole lot to see here, but, you know, 0.5 science. And a bit of funds, better than nothing. Recover those parachute casings. There we go. Turn debris back off. And back out. So that put us up above 200,000. We got a little bit of science out of that too, so not bad. We managed to recover at least part of our launch stage as well in that final, their second flight. So we might want to upgrade something. I think despite us not having the antenna technology or any kind of satellite infrastructure, we might want to send a probe to the Moon at this point. It'll be kind of on its own while it's there, but I'm fairly confident we can bring it back to Kerbal and recover all the juicy data it manages to gather. So with that in mind, it might be a good idea to upgrade our tracking station, since then we'll actually have patch conics visible. No, still no maneuver nodes, but it will be good to see our Moon encounter. So let's go ahead and upgrade that. There we go. Sort of an odd choice in color scheme, doesn't really match the rest of the Space Center. Now, actually I guess that's just scaffolding. Okay. So, let's check back in with G and see if there's anything good for our Muner mission. Let's see what we have. Perform experiments around KSC, mystery goo observation on Kerbal. Well, from a whole bunch of places. Well, the Commonwealth Science Foundation wants us to do mystery goo observations of several different locations. I think that'll be a good job for Jeb and his aircraft. We'll have to get that jet engine technology one of these days. See, we also got available field research around KSC. And fly by the Moon, that'll be a good one to take. World First Record Keeping Society. Didn't like our probe cores for those altitude records early on, but I think this one does not need to be manned. In any case, the advance is nice. And let's see what else we got. Atmospheric scan on Kerbal. Oh yeah, that's that one by Dinkelstein's Nexus that we've had available for a while. Crash a probe on the Moon. We do want to return our probe. I think if we crashed it, even though this would complete, it wouldn't really feel right without the infrastructure, because logically we wouldn't be able to get any data back from that if we didn't have relays in orbit. So let's see what else we have. Explore the Moon, orbit, transmit, land. Not sure how much this is manned. Probably worth taking all of these Moon things anyway. So let's take the flyby. We have 4 and a max of 7, so that's lots. Lander can, we'll do that later perhaps. Stack separator orbiting the Moon. We could possibly take a stack separator along with us just to do this test. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And explore the Moon. Okay, we've got a good chunk of contracts. Lots of advances, brought us back up to 150,000. Okay, so let us go to our VAB and start work on our Moon rocket. Okay, let's get rid of this thing. Let's load up, let's see, more money, more boosters from before. That's got a good starting point. Big boosters with our L2X torch core stage. Take off our command pods here, of course. Keep this upper stage. So, we're going to need our probe core, but we want some other stuff on there first. Let's grab... Oh, we'll need a heat shield for whatever we do. If we want to return this stuff, we'll definitely need a heat shield. So, let's see here. 1.25 meter heat shield. And then we'll grab one of those new, what are they called? Utility bays? I guess it would be under structural. Would it? No, I don't see it there. Utility... Aha, yes, service bay. Let's purchase access to that. Be quite handy. And then we can put our typical probe core arrangement in the front. And recess that in. Okay, let's open this up and see what we'll need to put in here. Now, electric charge is definitely going to be a concern. So I'll need some batteries. And the probe cores continually deplete electric charge, but one thing I can do to put into hibernation is to disable the battery flow and then just re-enable it once we arrive at the Moon or back at Kerbal on the return leg. Some way to charge the batteries also would be nice, especially since we'll be using this LV909, which does not have an alternator on it. We do, I believe, have access to the fuel cells. There it is. So let's purchase the entry cost. I'll put a fuel cell right in the middle. Let's see, what's the best way to... If I put symmetry on, then I can see exactly where they overlap. And then... that's a little tricky though. Okay, something like that. Yeah, and then I can turn symmetry off. It should be in right about the right place. I think if I use the offset tool with snapping on, that might help as well, just to sort of center it. Yeah. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's put some of our Z100 rechargeable battery packs in here. Come on, there we go. So maybe like 4 of them or so. Want some room for some experiments as well. Line that up like that. So there we go. Some good amount of battery. So let's take a look at our science parts. Radio mount. Actually, no, I'll need that later. Actually, I could put them on now. Maybe on the side here. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I think this thing should be a lot lighter than our previous test rig with those engines on it, so it should survive a splashdown. Let's offset these in a little bit. Let's turn snapping off and bring them in. Maybe rotate a little bit as well. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, looks good. Actually, Actually, I wonder... I should probably move them higher up, just to make sure we don't, like, flip over in an undesirable direction once the parachutes are deployed. So that seems pretty good, I think. Okay, so science experiments. We need a number of mystery goos. How many? Come on. Everything wants to snap upside down in here. So 2 like that. Maybe a third one in the top middle. Does that look about right, I think? I think so. Okay, now we'll need a bunch of thermometers. So maybe 3 thermometers. And 3 barometers. Not sure if we'll need that many. But we can't reset our experiments or move them to any kind of container, so we're going to need to have maximum redundancy. There we go, we're jam-packed with stuff. Okay, let's close that. Oh, actually, I wanted to put some antennas on here, which we probably will not use, but give a nice little look to it, and if we think we might not make it back to Kerbal in one piece, it'll be good to have the option. And they mass very little. Could just hide them under the parachutes here. Just angle them out a little bit like that. And then once they're extended, yeah, maybe angle them a little more, just to give it a nice look. There we go. It's a little bit insectile, maybe. Okay, we'll track those. Now, what else do we need? And do we need additional delta V? No, a little readout in the bottom corner is not super helpful. I think probably because our staging is not right. So, an LVT30 and the 2 boosters. And then I want, these are our booster decoupler and parachutes. We have that decoupler, which is good, and then the engine, and then that decoupler, and then the heat shield, which has a built-in decoupler, but don't really see a need to decouple that, so it'll probably stay attached the whole mission. Where are our other parachutes? Okay, there we go. Those will need to go in their own stage. And there. There we go. Okay, let's see. So what does our delta V look like now? Still, I think that's not actually accurate. Well, let's rename this to begin with. Still no 2x torch. We'll call this the Moonbat Automaton. Our proper flag, even though it doesn't actually appear anywhere, but satisfies my obsessiveness, so I'll save that. Oops. Stay. Okay, I'm just going to make a cut right here for a moment, and I'm going to do some delta V calculations, because I don't quite trust that. So I will be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so it looked like the issue was the root part, because I had initially this fuel tank as the root. So I took it apart and put it back together with the probe core as the root, and now the delta V readout makes more sense. You can see I've made some other changes as well here. Doubled up the boosters, added some launch clamps, expanded this stage a little bit, and then I put these separators and decouplers as sort of a test package, because we have contracts to test those in orbit and near the Moon. I experimented to see if I could turn this into a landing mission, but couldn't quite make it work with our current parts, not easily anyway, so I think we're just going to do a orbit and then return. So just change that and we should be good for launch. Let's head to the launch pad. Okay, stability assist on, throttle up, staging all good. So let's get ready for liftoff in 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. There we go. Lots of booster power this time around. The thrust throttle down to about 30%. Going to try to have an orbit of, let's see here, I want our apoapsis above 80 so we can test that liquid engine, and then we need to also be above 90 at one point for those decouplers. Okay, let's roll over a bit. Left that a little later than I had intended. Let's throttle down. This thing's yawing off to the side a bit. Boosters will be out of fuel momentarily. There they go. Throttle up. Nice separation. Hopefully those will be recovered. Let's try to get our roll under control here. Still a bit off course. I think I probably have some asymmetry up here that's messing it up a bit. Let's try to pull that prograde vector over. Let's take a look at our map view. Okay, can you pull that over towards the 90 degree? We don't have much in the way of control once we get, there we go, once we get out of the atmosphere, because the probe core's torque is extremely low. The stock game it actually has no torque at all, but I've modified it so it has a very tiny amount. So okay, let's wait until that gets to 80-ish and then we will throttle down our engines. Okay, that's probably good. Looks like we can make a maneuver node. So let's pull that around. Need to get this aligned properly. Right on our apoapsis. Nope. Actually wanted this to be 90 something, so that's probably good. Okay, let's get pointed in the right direction. Speed this up with physical time warp a bit, because our reaction wheel is so poor. Okay, let's throttle this up. We need to go now. So our upper stage has fairly low thrust to weight ratio. Well, it does have a gimbal, so that'll solve our control issues a bit. Now you can see we're starting to point in an undesirable direction. Come on, tiny reaction wheel, you can do it. Okay, let's ditch that engine. Start up this one. Okay, now we got some control. Let's try pointing back up this way. And yeah, we're gonna have some bit of a struggle getting into orbit. At this point, I'm not really paying attention to my maneuver. We can probably just get rid of that, actually. It's not going to tell us what we need to know. This is the same issue we had last time. Okay, what do we have here? 75, 50, 60. Okay, looks like we're going to skim back through the atmosphere. Unless we do our lunar departure. For then, it actually looks like we will, because we'll probably make it here. Although I do want to... do want to raise the periaps up a little bit so that I can do these two contracts while we're still around Kerbal. They require us to be in orbit, so I think I'm going to do a little burn. Okay, we have our core stage was destroyed, and then our 4 boosters were recovered. I think once this is up near 80 kilometers, I'm going to bring our periapsis up so we are in orbit proper, and then I can do some of these part tests. So let's just time warp forward a little bit. Entering the dark side of the planet. Okay, we are above 80 now. So let's get our periapsis above 70. Okay, there. Okay, so now that counts properly as orbit. I think to get this test to work, I'm going to have to shut this down, make a new stage, and drop it into, nope, into there. And then, aha, there we go. We'll get the engine back up. And our contract is done. So we got 4 science and 53,000 funds. That's good. Now for our radial decouplers, that's above 90. So probably have to do them through staging as well. So let's see where they are. They're here. Bring that down. Set down our engine again. Put it in the 4th stage. Time warp up to above 90. Okay, all our criteria should be met, so let's stage that. And I don't think that works. Stage. There we go. Those decouplers flew off. They worked as expected. So contract complete. Another 4 science and 61,000 credits. So that's quite nice. And let's get rid of that stage. Staging's all screwed up. It doesn't want to delete. Well, that's fine. Turn our engine back on. And let's see, we've got Moon. Okay, so everything will, all our other contracts are Moon related. So our next issue will be, or task, will be making our departure burn. So we will be burning about here. It's on the other side of the orbit. And there's the Moon. The Moonbat Automaton will be visiting you soon. But I think that will be in the next episode, because this one has gone on long enough. So I hope you have enjoyed this. This has been Promi. Thanks for watching.